Welcome to Burning Waters of the Moon Tarot. My name is Desiree, and this is a reading for the energy of Libra. Libra, I'm using Serpent Fire Tarot for you and also Anatorian's Tarot of the Abyss. So I'm going to pull 3 cards from Serpent Fire Tarot. Those are going to be the 3 main energies that we are going to read on. And then we'll pull 9 more cards from Tarot of the Abyss to further dive into the message, okay? And this is for all placements in Libra, even though you don't have a planet or a star or an angle in Libra, you do have a house in Libra. So we all have all of the zodiacal signs in our charts, and it's just some of us it might take a little bit more time for us to access those energies. But with a little practice, we can get better, right? And then we can access them all the time. I have my sun is technically in Libra, but it's on the cusp. So I'm like 1 degree Libra sun. So I'm cuspy Libra Virgo sun. And most of my placements are in Virgo. So I'm just like, but I'm not your typical Virgo. So it's, it's kind of weird. All right, one more good shuffle. And we will pull your cards, Libra. Let's see what we have for you. So we've got the Page of Cups in reverse. We've got the 8 of Swords. And we've got the Hierophant. Ah, wow. Okay. Oh, I need that. I'm all pushing the Tarot of the Abyss out of the way. And like, get out of the way, Tarot Abyss. Okay. So Page of Cups, Earth of Water in reverse, 8 of Swords, air, and then we've got the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is our connection to the higher realm, right? The unseen. Whatever that may be, whether you are, spell work, dancing, altar work, whatever it is that connects you to that higher realm, right? And then the 8 of Swords is an air card, and that is indicative of us getting in a mindset and us being kind of stuck there, us thinking that we're in a certain situation and we can't get out, when really we can. It's just our thinking that needs to change. We also have the Page of Cups, which is in reverse, and that's Earth of Water. And so the pages are very young energy, and I must say that I've had a lot of pages coming through today. Lots of young energy. Very excited to learn, very excited to get into the nitty-gritty of things. And this Page of Cups is exploring the realm of water, which is emotions, it is feelings, and he really wants to understand and know these feelings and just get in there, kneading and making bread and really be immersive in it. And it's like that young energy, that new energy. When you first start something, you're so excited and you have just this excitement and desire to keep going in, right? So, and so that's what the page energy is. And with it being in reverse, I feel like it might be that there is some kind of holding back in a way. And I think it has to do with what's going on here. Like you're holding yourself back from experiencing something because of this 8 of Swords energy. And it's looking like the answer, of course, is to get to the ether, get to that higher level of understanding. All right, let's see what we have here. So we've got the Fool, Major Arcana, Knight of Cups, 7 of Swords, Temperance, another Major Arcana, 8 of Wands, Fire, the Emperor in reverse, 3 of Pentacles in reverse, Strength, and 10 of Wands. Okay, bottom of the deck here, we have the Queen of Cups. So, let me show you your spread here. what a very pretty spread. I like the way this looks. This just looks super cool. Okay. Let us start with, I want to start with this Page of Cups here. So we've got the Fool, we've got the Knight of Cups, and we've got the Three of Pentacles in reverse. So like I said, this Page of Cups is being held back for some reason. And we've got the Fool and the Knight of Cups here. So the underlying energy of this being held back, I get the feeling that you don't want to be in this situation. You don't want to be held back from expressing yourself, from even maybe starting a relationship or investigating this relationship. I think you want to be a part of whatever it is. So we've got this Three of Pentacles in reverse down here, and that's indicative of teamwork, people coming together to create a project or something. So I feel that your feelings, you really want to step into this Page of Cups energy, but you're being held back, and you're being held back by this Eight of Swords. And this Eight of Swords, like I said, is that mental prison, that mind tornado that we put ourselves in, those negative thoughts that we have about ourselves. And we've got the Seven of Swords, Temperance here, and Strength. So we've got two major arcana in this column here. Seven of Swords often talks about deception. And what I'm seeing here is I kind of feel like there might be a situation in which you were hurt before, like maybe you wore your heart on your sleeve in one relationship, and then there was a situation in which it didn't end well for you. So now you're kind of in that situation again, but you're ruminating on what happened in the past. And so it's almost like you're self-deceiving yourself. And because of the Eight of Swords is that mind prison that we put ourselves into, right? It might not necessarily be that that's the way that it is, but that's the way that we're seeing things because we're looking at things through our lens of experience. And because we experience some kind of deception, heartbreak, or whatever, we're starting to deceive ourselves into thinking that that's the way it's always going to be. However, the Hierophant over here is asking you to kind of take control of this in a on a different plane, right? On the plane of the ether. So what I'm seeing here is that you're needing to transmute some kind of energy, transmute this energy that you experienced before. Maybe think about what the lesson is that you got from that previous relationship and how can you move forward with that. So we do have the Emperor in reverse over here, and the Emperor is card number 4 of the major arcana, which is very much structure, very much in this physical world that we live in. And because he's in reverse, I get the feeling that we don't want to be in this physical realm right now. The work that needs to be done is going to be in this higher realm, this higher level of thinking, because I think it's going to take like maybe some different kind of thought on a higher level, a higher plane, asking for help from your ancestors, your spirit guides, however it is that you reach that unseen world. That is the plane that we need to be working on, not on this physical plane right now, because what's going on in your mind, I think, is something that needs to be worked on a different plane. Yeah, and that's the best way that I can put it. And we have Strength and 10 of Wands here. And so I feel that using this inner strength that you have within yourself is going to be key and is going to be necessary to being able to work on this higher plane. So you really want this relationship. My candle went out. I have another one back here. I have to be careful not to spill the wax. I've done that before. There we go. There's our fire element. Thank you. Okay. So you want to make sure that that you're working on a different, it's like a different mental, not even mental, it's just a whole new level of thinking, because you don't want to be in this Page of Cups energy. Your energy is this Fool and this Knight of Cups here. And what you want to do is you want to be that, you want to be in a relationship and you want to jump in there carefree, free flowing, and just allow things to happen. But because of your past experience, it's keeping you kind of stuck. It's keeping you from moving. It's keeping you, you've got that, like I said, mental prison going on in your head that's keeping you in that previous state. And so the Strength card is really asking you to pull yourself out of this, and the way to pull yourself out of this is going through this higher realm. And we've got the 10 of Wands down here, and I feel that this is a heavy burden on you. And so I think it's imperative to start working on it now. Okay. I think you've been carrying this for a while. You've been kind of dealing with this, and maybe it's been several relationships, but it's time to actually, nip this in the bud and transmute this energy and turn it into something beautiful. And what I think, what's going to help is this Hierophant, this connection to the higher realms. So let me go ahead and pull a card. You know what? I'm going to pull a card from my Jade Oracle here. I haven't been using this in this particular series of readings, but this is my favorite Oracle deck. Huitil, I think is how you pronounce that. Huitil, Shui, it's Shui. Huitil. And that's interesting because right now we are in Itzcal, right? My Mesoamerican calendar, which is here. It's Itzcali. And that is an honoring of the energy Shwitli Kwitli, which is associated with Shwitil, and Shwitil is the turquoise, and also that's this. Actually, that's jade. No, Shwitil is different. That's the glyph for jade. All right. Oh, I gotta shuffle these a lot. So don't be jaded. Don't keep yourself from experiencing something just because of past experiences. And I know it's hard, we learn from past experiences, but sometimes they can put a negative connotation on a situation. And we don't always want to live like that, because we miss out on wonderful things. And I see that, you want this Page of Cups, you want this energy to come forth so badly, but you're afraid for some reason. You don't want to be hurt again. And nobody wants to be hurt, but we don't want to live a life of fear and regret, or we don't want to live a life of not having an experience just because a previous experience has been soured. We've been soured by that previous experience. Not everybody's the same. It's important that we learn from these lessons, but it's also important that we keep our heart open. All right, let's see what we have for you, Libra. Ooh, Totsito Nancy. Oh my gosh. So this is the great Mother Earth, okay? Tonantzin is Mother Earth, and she takes care of us. We live on her, and she provides. Okay. Tosi means grandmother. Tonantzin means great mother. Identified with ancient wise wisdom, she is the patron of medicine and protector of new mothers and their babies. She guards the Temescal, the purifying sweat bath. Like a pure Aztec deity, Tosi Tonantzin is associated with the earth, often thought as the heart of the earth. She is honored at her temple at Tepeyac, now the site of the Basilica de Guadalupe in Mexico City. There are virtually no images of Tosi, so the image on the card combines La Virgen de Guadalupe and other symbols associated with her. When Tonantzin appears, she is here as an advisor to remind you to keep your feet on the ground and take care of yourself as well as those around you. She reminds you to listen and trust your inner wisdom, and she invites you to remember that with every experience, you become wiser. Trust yourself, forgive yourself, and surrender to her loving embrace. And I think that's a wonderful message for you, Libra. And I think it's wonderful because this card is like the Virgen, right? The Virgin Mary. The Virgen de Guadalupe is what the Mexican Catholics revere. And she's the great mother, and she's also associated with caring and loving, right? Being open. And I think that this message for you is to open yourself up to being loved and allowing that to come in and flow through yourself. And the way through that is through reaching to that higher power, so to say, and working with that energy to not only understand yourself, but also understand the world. And sometimes we just need a little help from the unseen to get us out of things. And like I said, you've been carrying this burden for a while. You've kind of been stuck in this energy for a while. So it's a good idea to try and to try to work with these energies of the unseen, spirit, the ether, just working with something that's higher than yourself, because you kind of been here for a while. All right, Libra, I hope this message helps you, and if you can think of anybody who can benefit from this message, please share. And with that, I will leave you, and I'll see you next reading. Take care.